Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our first playthrough of Pathologic. In case you guys don't know me, my name is Ed. I'm a psychologist. I tend to go ahead and do a lot of analysis and reviews of anime and video games. And in those reviews, we tend to go pretty deep. We tend to talk about all the different psychological components that are portrayed. So I'm really curious about this game, about Pathologic in general. I've been feeling kind of sick lately. I'm coming out of being sick, and I think, hey, you know what? With my big old, green tea of self-care here, why don't we just jump into it? Why don't we see what this game has in store for us? I don't really know anything about this game. Backseating is allowed. If you guys can help me out while we go through this game together, that would be absolutely wonderful, and I would appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You guys are absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today on this first playthrough. Now sit back. We are going to stop a lot. We are going to talk a lot. We're going to go ahead and try and analyze as much as we can, and then just go from there. And if you guys like it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, that whole ordeal. You guys already know it. All right, let's jump into it, shall we? And here we go. Oh, if it's coming. Oh, it's a fucking rat. We're starting off with the rat. I hate rats. Fucking Moshiko Tensei course taking us through. Oh no. Oh no. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go as far as we can tonight.
Allow me to remind you that an epidemic of unknown origin has already eradicated a few genuinely distinctive towns in the northern part of the country. The cause and circumstances of these tragic events remain uncertain. There is a lot that we cannot explain yet. It appears as though the plague has a mind of its own, as if it is driven by some irrepressible will.
Right.
Why else has no one managed to fight it successfully? Why does it target the most precious aspects of our existence?
Ooh.
The sand plague picks its victims fastidiously, and the same principle always draws it back to whoever tries to oppose it. Surprisingly, we've yet to hear a single word from the powers that be.
From the powers that be. So I'm assuming that this is... I did not expect these graphics. Hold on. This is... Oh, this is one of those games. Here, I'll wait till a good pausing point before I continue. Oh. You can already feel the atmosphere in it. Wow. 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 What an intro screen. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta at least allow myself the opportunity to set up the right controls and stuff, you know? Well, while we're processing this a little bit. What an intro. Let me just take the time to go ahead and talk about this, and hopefully we'll be doing this on stream soon. This whole intro was very theatrical. Like, right off the bat, like, yes, the graphics, we can talk about the graphics and that styling, but even in the graphics themselves, and this is something that I do want to talk about, is the psychology of art, right? And the psychology of what it means to, like, present an object, like, right in front of you. So, for example, if I were to go ahead and be all pixelated, right? If I were to use, like, this 360p camera to you, but I'm delivering phenomenal information. Or if I was a VTuber, right, and I'm still delivering great information, does the VTuber aspect of me, right, do people fall in love with the mask of the VTuber, or are they taking the message for what the message is? And I sort of wonder if this is all done, well, it's a video game, it has to be done on purpose, but if that was the intent behind it, you know? Looking at the graphics immediately coming in and just seeing, like, the mood. I don't know what year this came out in. I don't really know anything about this game. Other than, of course, just like the very basics. Like, this is one of the games that apparently a lot of people like to play, or apparently is interesting to play. That's pretty much all I know about it. But going further into it, I'm like, Whoa. First off, the music, banger. Absolute banger. But second off, the way that this was showcased, right, was very even Chekhovian, if you want to talk about it that way. In theater, you have many different styles of theater. You could even say Brechtian at that point, right? Because it started off with someone sort of reading what seemed to be maybe something like a quote or something. Maybe it'll be memorable later on. And then boom, it starts off with people doing what people do in wherever we're at. Very natural point of life. Really, really, like for me, intriguing. Really, really intriguing. Because for me, it's like, what is the message behind this? What is the point that the developers are trying to do or trying to put here? Who are the powers of that be? And that's another thing that came from that quote that I'm still wondering. Sorry, guys. My mind's trying to go to encapsulate everything. I'm not going to spend more time on it. It was some little things that stood out to me that I was like, this is definitely something that we're talking about. So let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. I need to get your guys' volume up. Otherwise, you guys aren't going to be able to hear it. Oh.
Where are we?
Oh my God.
Inside of him. This must be one of the ventricles, right here.
What a silly place. It's stuffed.
Whoa. Okay, as a theater nerd and a fucking psychologist, I got to talk to you guys about this. This is amazing positioning. I'm listening to it, but
Your justice will blind you and become his demise. This calls for the gentle hand.
I'm fucking like flabbergasted at the moment. Hold on.
Both of you.
Your gentle hands are used to killing, not giving life. You will inevitably do harm. As for Brainy, he has no regard for casualties at all. Neither of you knows compassion.
Yes, it seems unlikely that we'll get along.
I want you guys to take this into consideration. The positioning. Where are they in position to one another? We have 3 different characters, all at different layers. So let me get you guys in close. What a beautiful, beautiful way to tell a story. And also their voices. It's very monotoned. It's very, yes. Da 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 da. You know, like very, let's keep it here. Very Brecht. And very just a good way of like, hey, you know what? Like, you're watching, think about it this way. We're playing a game and watching a scene and watching a theater production of that scene of the game that we're playing. Think about like the layers that constructs, right? But also, as a staging, right? As a director in theater, right? As like in any regards, what do you do when you have individuals like this and their patterns that they're walking, right? Whether it's going up and down. His is mostly coming up and down and up and down. We haven't really seen his as much. What does that show here, ladies and gentlemen? Like, if you were to go ahead and take this in as just like a small, like, observational hint or something, like, what would you guys say for your own position that you'd be like, you know what? I completely understand it, or I completely get what's happening in this regard. I'll tell you what. Positions of power. Positions of change. We have an individual back here with the backdrop of what seems to be a city, right? Hope you guys can see. Oh, you guys can't even see that one. Okay. I'll push it up just a little bit. Seems to be like the background of like what seems to be like a city. I'm just doing like highlights and stuff up here, right? Seems to be someone in the middle with stairs coming down. And then someone's on both sides. And then the girl, or whoever this is, that sounds like a girl, that's going back and forth in this regard. In this area, who is more comfortable? Who has the most power? The most ability to quite literally command the stage or change avenues or whatnot? Because at the end of the day, like even if like say that this is just a player presentation and our character is like, you know, observing this as a way of like finding out about the world, we're seeing 3 different characters on here who are all presenting a narrative, right? Which is like, oh yeah, sooner or later you will have to kill and you will have to do certain things. sometimes doing good can also result in us doing bad. And for us to do something bad, we have to do good. And sometimes, we can't necessarily be, because they were talking about something about like, oh yeah, I can be the change or whatever. Sometimes if we do that, like, we embark so much stress and so much like everything on us that it ends up overcoming us and succumbing us to even the like aspects of grandeur or delusions or 101 other aspects. So for this character, it's interesting that they're going back and forth. It's like they're marking two different positions, right? They're marking position A, going all the way to position B, back to position A, back to position B. While these two in the back are very stale. And this one's overviewing everything that's happening here, sort of like someone that like knows what's really going on, someone that like in a stage matter you would probably put, like, if we're being realistic, like melancholic 1940s, 1950s, 60s even plays. Where would the villain go? I want you guys to think about this. If you were to put up a play, where would you put the villain? You would often put him in the back, right? If it wasn't a realistic, like, Chekhovian play, you would often put, or even in most plays, you would still put them in the back observing. Where are the power positions in this? Demands the most attention, or is often like the most quickest introduction, whatnot, is often the individual center, kind of close to center stage, aspects of like movement or aspects of standing still, maybe even if you were to say a spotlight moment in that, right? The person in the back observing everything. I find this power dynamic interesting, and I find the stories and the way that they're delivering this very precise. And for some people, I'm not sure if that might throw them off. For me, I love this shit. I don't even know like if this is just like a little aspect of the game, but if the game continues on with showing aspects of theatrical elements with the psychology embedded in it, oh man, we're about to have a fucking field day. We're about to have a fucking field day, and we don't even know it just yet. We don't even know it. I don't even know it, bro. All right, let's go. And the actors leave the stage. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it's a blackout, and the person's still there. Oh my God. Have I just witnessed a fucking masterpiece in storytelling right now? And I feel like we're literally just in the opening here. Oh my God. In case you're wondering, dude, why are you so up? Also, interesting to know. Hold on, let me showcase this before I go into this. Might be hard to see, but there's a lady in what seems to be blue or white, and then another lady in like black, right, in the town, what seems to be a town behind them. So the reason why I'm highlighting this is I wonder if this plays any significance, like at all, considering even like the positioning of, wow, even it seems as though you can still see their models frozen and walking in different directions. So he's walking this way. This is the stage. They're at the edge here. There's a table here with three chairs, right? 1, 2, and I believe 3, if I can see correctly. Yes. He's walking this way where there's stairs. Here's the city in the background. Then here's the big, I guess foyer or whatnot of the ladies, if you want to go ahead and put it that way. So I just noticed I'm not the most artistic individual. I know. But when it comes to this is what blows my mind. By the way, he's drew him a little too up high for you guys to see. It's blowing my mind because all of them and what they have described so far have different tactics or are showcasing different tactics available. And I know we might touch into it. We will definitely we'll play into the game, right? But the different tactics that are being like just like, hey, oh, you will definitely become a killer. Oh, I know it, right? it brings up a question for me, and I don't know if it's gonna show up in the game. And you guys can bring this up or be like, hey, you know what? Well, as I said, backseat gaming is allowed. I completely allow it because for me, it's more about the analysis aspect as to what's going on, which is in this game, like, and I guess in any game, what is fate, and what does it mean to be a gamer in that regard? Like, for example, as a gamer, are you tied to fight? Are you tied to fate when you sit down to play a game? Are you an individual that is tied to the story that is being told and the fate of, say, like Kratos, as you're playing God of War, is only as foretold or as lived as you play it? Because everyone else's story of Kratos would be different. Because they all got to experience and or drop the game at different parts in the series. I wonder if this is an element that is being brought up in just a nonchalant way, or if I'm just reading way too fucking into it. Ladies and gentlemen, hi, welcome to a standard Psyculturists stream where we delve really way too fucking deep into it. Anyways, let's game, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. All right, let me get the controllers in here. Okay. Man, what I love shit like this. I love it when stuff like this geeks out. And also, just a juxtaposition of colors here from like blue and white to this darker color over here. Like, can one thing happen without the other? Like, I wonder what elements we're actually gonna see in this game. Anyway, oh shit. Okay. The Changeling. This character is only unlocked after you finish the Bachelor story. The Haruspects. How do they call upon butchers by the eyes regarding their future entrails? He knows the body bears. Oh, person who has avoided contradiction too eager to rip a doomed life apart. The Bachelor. The history of humanity witnessed by a number of catastrophes that have demonstrated without a shadow of a doubt the pettiness of human achievement and triumph of the invincible evil. Outbreaks of infection. So, the story of a person who has managed to work a miracle and defeat seemingly unvanquishable foe. Let's start off with The Bachelor, shall we?
Daniil Dankovsky, a bachelor of medicine, was brought here by circumstances most unfortunate. Dankovsky's life work, his theory challenging the existing notions of human mortality, is being harshly persecuted by the powers that be. Suddenly, a letter arrives from a colleague suggesting that there is previous undiscovered evidence which may support Dankovsky's claims. There is a settlement, the letter says, ruled by an extraordinary man who may well be seen as objective proof of Dankovsky's daring hypothesis. Grasping at straws of hope, Dankovsky decides to follow what he believes to be the sign of divine providence. Without further ado, he sets off for the settlement. Late at night, Bachelor arrives in the town. As he seeks a room and board, he gets to know a girl called Eva Yan and stays at her place till dawn.
Love the narrator. What a voice. What a voice. What a voice. All these colors. Oh my God. Bro, I'm like, is this gonna be like a... Wow. Wow. Loading the world. Well, thank you. Good little opportunity to talk about this intro. So, before we read into this intro, some people might just dismiss it as, oh, wow, how odd or how weird. How Brecht. How Brechtian. How even Chekhovian in that way, right? Where it's just nothing but showcasing the world. In an aspect like this, even the silences, we didn't really hear dialogue, right? Just what's happening. Also, I'm noticing the background in this environment. I can already tell that this game is probably going to fuck with a lot of things. Anyway, the game itself, going into this, what does it do, right? Number one, the bachelor, right? He comes in, he's a bachelor of medicine, so he's someone that studied. And is coming into this town because there might be evidence that challenges it or supports his views or whatever. Backseat gamers, help me out here. You guys can drop in a little bit of knowledge or whatever I missed throughout the game, throughout this first part. It makes me wonder, right? Because through this, sorry boys, let me bring this up. Usually when individuals come in, right, when an individual's studying and whatnot, where are they at in the hierarchy of needs? And I ask this because you don't have to meet every single like mark in a hierarchy of needs to move on to the next pedestal, right? But in an environment like this, it brings up the next question. If he is looking for esteem, for confidence, for respect, for achievement, does he have this Bachelor of Medicine's love and belonging, safety, physiological needs? Or is he going to be missing some? Is he missing some, and are those holes getting bigger? For example, is he over here attaining self-actualization, and yet this aspect of trying to find achievement is what draws him back into this town? Which brings me into my next line of questions. Which is why I'm saying, these little parts of just the character walking, and I hope that the game focuses on like aspects of just, I don't know, exploring or walking or like just the silences that it had in this little opening. Because what that does for a lot of people and for your brain, if it's not for like a stupid amount of time, is it allows you to introspect and it allows you to think. It allows you to start wondering and like literally being like, oh, okay, what is going on? And that's why it's done in theater, by the way, because you're allowed to see a character be who they are in their natural world, right? Before they even say a first line, there's some plays where you will see the characters walking without saying anything, being in character for 3, 4, 5 minutes before they even speak their first line. So I just want to go ahead and touch on that because I think it's important we're talking with their teams. But then comes in my next question. Aspects of change. And by this, I mean, this is a studying man, Bachelor of Medicine, that's coming into this town to find something to support and or, you know, challenge a claim or challenge whatever, right? The reason why I'm bringing this up is if I taught you that 2 plus 2 equals 4, and I can show you that 2 plus 2 equals 4 because you are a studied individual, but you come over to the desert where I live and I say 2 plus 1 or 2 plus 2 does not equal 4, it equals 0. And in fact, 0 equals omega, you know, or is 0 equals 1. Because you can't have an app, you know, and you could just start going wild with it. Like, the reason why I'm going off of this is, can your thought patterns and your absolute beliefs and ethical boundaries and even considerations as a professional change depending on the region that you will go to or the belief structure that you go in with, right? Because even further than that, if I believe that 2 plus 2 equals 4, and I am a studied gentleman, I am over here with my, my side D coming into this town, and I am telling everyone that 2 plus 2 equals 4, and I don't care if you say 2 plus 2 equals 1, equals 0, equals whatever. I'm gonna force 2 plus 2 equals 4. What does that do to me as an individual that is coming into this town? I want you guys to wrap your perspective around that. Be like, ooh, wait a minute. Sociologically speaking, and I'm bringing this up like this. Sociologically speaking, we're putting an individual right in the middle here. This is brought from Brenner's ecological theory, by the way. We're putting an individual right in the middle. And if he comes in here thinking that he can affect, like that he can genuinely have a massive effect on the entire macro system, the exosystem, meso, and just have a ripple all the way through because they decide, you know what, everything needs to conform to me. Will that happen, or will there be hate? Will there be people that look at you weird and have like a negative connotation in your way? And just process that in a way. There's a danger to coming in as like, oh yeah, I have to go in here because there's sort of validity or whatnot. I don't know where this game's gonna go. I'm just throwing it out there as the perspective of like, for example, being one of the individuals that came to a rural area where there wasn't a lot of psychologists and therapists before, and having to encounter that, like, hey, mental health stigma is still a very real thing, and oftentimes you have to use their words, right? Like the society or the area where I live, their words for their own betterment. So I'm kind of wondering, like, in a realistic terms, that's an encounter that you would happen, but also what's going to happen through this. With that being said, let's go. As of today, my mission remains obscure. The examination of Simon Kane, who is rumored to be a man of incredible longevity, may shake the very foundation of modern thanatology and challenge the existence of notions of death itself. However, if this undying Leviathan proves to be more than a fairy tale, the mere confirmation of his existence won't suffice to prevent the powers that be from shutting our laboratory down. But okay, I need to figure out the most fruitful approach. Simon is a well-respected man, and if he makes my interest for effrontery, it would be nigh impossible to convince him to help me break a new ground in the field of human vitality. Okay. No other task. By the end of which the Bachelor finds himself battling an unvanquishable foe. Ooh. Did it already just tell us the ending? Wait a minute. By the end, the Bachelor will fight an unvanquishable foe. Oh. Also, let's take a look at this. Look at the environment. It feels so crowded. It's like everything's like coming in on you, like, wow. Okay, well, let's check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Weapons, clothes, drugs. Oh, okay. Rations, other. So I'm assuming I can use this, right? An outdated immunity booster. Only can cause some serious damage. A painkiller. I think I took the other one by accident. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, whatever. As long as it doesn't fucking kill me. Oh no, I hope it wasn't important. Oh jeez, man. All right, well, let's see. Where do we go from here? Okay. Okay, so interact with stuff is just standard. I thought I was tripping for a second. Oh, dude. This reminds me of, like, Dutch stairs. I lived in the Netherlands for a good period of time, but, like, this is just, like, claustrophobic, dude. Okay, we're good. How many of you guys have played this game before? What'd you guys think? Like, genuinely asking. Because I'm looking at this and I'm like, this feels like it would be a trip and a half. Very anime. To play.
I had a feeling you would come.
Well, considering I was upstairs, I feel like it was only natural that I would come. Or did you mean the other? Oh, never mind. Did the sounds from the outside wake you up too? There was a terrible groan and then something snapped loudly. No, I heard nothing. Ooh. I'll be honest. I fell asleep so quickly I didn't even notice. It's like a fainting. So what sounds are you talking about? Okay. I think there are strangers in the backyard by the pond. They're unlikely to be planning mischief, but I have a bad feeling about this. I'm afraid to go out to them. I hope they go away soon and stop disturbing our sleep. So I'm going to play this the way that I guess I would answer this, just to be 100% real with this. And it's like, how do I want to close this dialogue or do I want to keep it open? Right? And it's a strategy game to think about it this way, right? Even as a psychologist, are you going to ask an open-ended question or are you going to close off the conversation with nothing to be? However, that can backfire. If you ask too many open-ended questions to a person, they're going to be like, you're interviewing me? What the fuck? Like, or is this a conversation? Like, where are we trying to go with this? So it's like trying to find the right balance to go through. Why? Do you think they're planning? Our population is so thin. Crime is basically non-existent, especially here in the Stone Yard. Sometimes there are pranks, of course. Fights happen occasionally. People are young here, so they often go out at night. But we are a tight-knit community. And now I hear an unfamiliar speech. That's not a good sound. Ooh, I'll go out and take a look, but I'm in a hurry. I must see this founding father of yours. Oh, dude, that's not the greatest. Are you willing to trade the company of a fascinated woman for that of a dreadful old man, even if he is a sorcerer? That's so sad. But Simon won't go anywhere. He is, and he always been. He always will be, even if the moon were to fall to the ground. Please stay with me a little longer. Okay, that's kind of terrifying. Is he legitimately... Because if it's not just a wild claim, and if he is, again, recovering from being sick, not sure if I stated it earlier, if he is, let's say, as old as dirt, I guess comes in my next question. Is he good? If we were to take this claim as valid or true, is this good? Like, are we even safe? I couldn't imagine the hospitality here, but who was waiting for me? Apologies. Simon is a sorcerer. Did I hear you right? Is that the secret to his longevity? Feels like I'm just pressing it in that direction. I couldn't even imagine the hospitality here. But who was waiting for me? I didn't notify old Barack of my arrival. I'm not even sure of what made me take off for this place. I feel like that's a little bit more open about it. Gloria is the messenger riding ahead of the man, a celebrity from the capital. Bachelor Danovsky, the founder of Thanatica, the man who challenges death. Of course we've heard about you. The glory is undeserved, but I hope that getting to know your ruler will give me a chance to live up to your expectations. Or I can cut off the conversation. But I feel like if I keep the conversation going, it will take up too much time as well, right? So you gotta find that sweet spot as to where it's appropriate to leave. Death. So that's the enemy you've chosen for yourself. Isn't it hard? I don't think anyone has managed to defeat that evil yet. But okay. I'm going to ask this. This is going to sound silly, and I know it is. Do you truly die if you were killed? Like, if you were to die today, are you truly dead? And even past that, right? Like, say that you were to wake up and you're just like, I don't know, your life 9,000, and you find out that there's like a kid in an arcade 5,000 years in the future playing this graphic version of us of what it was to be human civilization in the year 2000 or whatever, right? 2024, would you be dead? Or does your memes, your genes, your history, whatever carry on in some aspect? Like, what aspect of death does this encompass? And that's sort of where I'm going with this game. Death, so many, yep. Millions of doctors defeated at once on singular occasions, but my enemy is even more fearsome. It is death itself rather than the singular case of death. My enemy is inevitable. I am challenging the forces of nature. Death itself rather than a singular case of death. I think it's true to acknowledge it. Like, death is inevitable, but there's always. Time is the biggest change in the forces of nature in general. Like, you're trying to go against it, right? I don't understand. I can barely understand it myself. Could death only seem inevitable to us, but in reality be nothing more than a whim of the will that has shaped this world? So that is the question. So where is the key to my victory? Oh, that was good. Okay, it's not far. The Canes live at the Crucible on the Bridge Square. But could I please offer you a piece of advice? Go on. Simon has two younger brothers. The eldest of two, Georgie, I called the judge by the locals. Visit him first. He isn't asleep. He'll teach you how to speak with Simon. The youngest of three, Victor, his daughter Maria, also wanted to see you. It's probably important. Was it she who knew of my arrival? Yeah, she told me about it privately. Talking to her is no simple task. Maria's that kind of person. She puts on airs, but that's just how the Canes are. It was Maria who told me that she would help you defeat death. That's the precise wording. What a coincidence. All right, thank you for the advice. Go on and I'll prepare everything for your return. Do come back after you speak with the Canes. They'll probably do a lot of things that will puzzle you and put you on guard. I will have some advice that may be helpful if you need it. Okay, I'll come back. Oh, nice. It mapped it in our little map here. Wait. How can I... Okay. Sorry, what is this, bro? What are these? Like, the abattoir, the second block of the territory, the first block of the territory. Big spiky thingy. Bro, little town surrounded by two, like, extremely megalithic statues. It's almost like it's almost like the play. It's almost like the play. Wait a minute. All right. But aside from that, I kind of do want to touch on that.
Sometimes differ more widely from ourselves than we do from others.
I'm not sure whether to be creeped out or turned on. You want to say that again? Anyway. Oh, what the fuck are you? Nope. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Let's go. Hello. Hello. Tragedy. Venerable Bachelor, please be so kind as to linger for a minute. This conversation won't take up too much of your time, especially since time stops during dialogues, at least during the important. And our dialogue is extremely important. You need to know how to play after all, don't you? Interesting. So this tragedy character, I am neither a gambler nor an actor. Makes me wonder, how many times is this gonna break and address us? In Brechtian theater, that's what directors and whatnot would do, right? Is they would be talking about something, the scene is playing, and then all of a sudden, they can stop the thing and pull out their scripts and start reading it out to the audience to remind you that you are playing a game, that you are playing a script, that there is more of a message in here that's than what's being shown, right? To not get caught up in the theatrics of it. It's also an involvement of pain, and we can go on and on about it. Who are you? A poor tragedy, if you please. A victim of circumstances, just like you. You are mistaken. I am the director, the person in charge of the situation. But are we? Let's go that way. I'm the director, the person in charge of the situation. Of course you aren't. You are a living, breathing man. As it is evident from your conditions and statuses, you experience hunger, thirst, and fatigue. You suffer from pain, wounds, and disease. You're so lifelike. You have to eat, drink, sleep, and rest, and have to make mistakes. I mean, true, we all do. The latter being the most definite proof of my human nature, wouldn't you agree? If I may, I would like to point out just how important it is to keep an eye on your condition. If you get dizzy or unnaturally sluggish, do have it checked up. Vital processes tend to run faster during emergencies than in everyday life. I knew a person who died of stress was diagnosed with starvation. It happens. It happens. Yeah, misdiagnosis happens all the time. Need I remind a wise man like you of the fact that hunger is sated with food? Food can be found in shops, and shops can be found in ordinary houses that are marked with specific signs. Sleep, however, is more complicated. People only sleep in beds and only in private residences around here. I am sorry, but that's just how our world is. Yes, the world is unjust. Oh, I'm sure you might be like, why are you oofing about? Oh. Oh. Boys, what is one of our primal needs? One of our physiological needs? Sleep, food, excretion, breathing, taking care of ourselves. The entire thing that this whole element just touched on was, oh yeah, by the way, you need to manage your basic needs. But guess what? Your basic need of sleep, yeah, no, that's not guaranteed. Only private residences have the ability to sleep. And not everyone's guaranteed that way, right? The world is unjust. Whoa! It's such a good way of just like reflecting it back that like color me impressed. Yes, the world is unjust. And quite silly, if you forgive me for saying so. Speaking of course, different shops sell different prices. Some things may not be more things tricky to you, but others may be willing to part with their lifeblood for them. Blood? It is not my place to lecture you, but if you following your Hippocratic oath, you ever consider easing someone's pain, feel free to just approach them with a suitable drug. You will see their pain receding before your very eyes. The sick fall asleep when they're close to recovery, don't they? Or when they're close to death. Still, helping the hopeless will grant you a good reputation. You will be seen as a good benefactor. So reputation does, I'm guessing reputation does play an actual good part in this game then. And if that's the case, Bronfenbrenner's ecological model then plays a huge role in this. How do I, as an outsider, want to be seen in this community or part to play in this game? Oh my god. No, not yet. I'm not going to ask for more. I'm just going to say buy the mask. Who are you? Halt. I'm going to have to teach you about the technicalities of the setting, the time and the place. It's non-essential, but that's just how it is. The actor has to be preferred before he goes on stage, or else he'll fall down the aisle and stumble upon the prompt box. That would look mighty silly, wouldn't you agree? Speak, I'm listening. Time fly bys. It can't be stopped or turned back. Night follows days, which are then followed by nights. Things happen without any regard for whether you were there to witness them. Don't expect anyone to wait for you. Most events can be missed. So then, it makes me wonder if like in real life, because stuff is happening, IRL, right? At the very beginning, it showcased two other characters aside from the Bachelor. Are they also, like when you play them, would they also be in the same time period, or would they be after or before? Because if it takes place in the same time period, do your actions affect their storylines or no? And if it's like before or after in that regard, I'm trying to think about like what ways to add in that like your actions have consequences and the effects that it might like go through with it, right? Anyway, sorry. And then also like events can be missed might come to the next question. Are some events pointless? And so it would make sense for you to visit the places that you care about regularly. You'll find that people play major roles in your fate there and stand out there from common folk. The rest are just crowd shot, a background, a bunch of extras, as it always has been. Indeed, it's still best to avoid hasty judgment. It's a paradox. Don't try to care too much for the lives of these bound to stand out people, and don't be too dismissive of the silent crowd. Both extremes will end in tragedy. You heard it here, folks. Don't try and stand out too much, and don't try and cater too much to one crowd. You know, stand for something. The world cares for your reputation, a fine and crucial instrument. Your reputation changes the world you see, for it is a mirror. Wouldn't you agree? And so a bad reputation can get you in trouble. For example, oh, need I described? You've got a vivid imagination. Everything changes from mystical aspects to mundane things like the people you need to treating you badly, how many enemies you got, how high the prices rise, how bad your dreams are, lots of things. A sorry prospect. So how do I maintain my reputation? Same as anywhere. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not betray, do not steal, do not convey, do not be an asshole, do not get caught. These rules are the same everywhere. A true selfless deed, that is risking something for thy neighbor, or even a person who lives quite far away or can help in a dire situation. Okay, but can you lie to save someone though? Because in the process you would be doing a better good. Or all lies treated the same? And I sorry, my mind's going through a random line of questioning here. Good. As for me, I can't see anything in this mask. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, don't get too worked up about human lives and don't put too much stock into others' worlds, mine included. He who trusts everyone is asking to be deceived. Bro, I feel like you get like, it's like the developer being like, hey bro, I'm just putting in these characters just so that way I can guide you in, because you're about to get hit with like 1,001 things. Definitely. Alright, well, as long as I don't get killed immediately, I think we'll be fine. Oh. Oh, it is just straight up walking. What is this? Oh. Cool. Bro, it's like the architecture and everything is like so like drab and monotonous that it's kind of cool. I ain't gonna lie, but I have a feeling that like after a while, this. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm just clicking random stuff here. I hope I'm getting it. Whatever that was. Cool soundtrack though. What is this? Probably need a key or some shit. Wow, he wasn't wrong. A lot of the characters look the same. Man, literally just man with a doll. Anything I can do for you? There's more than one town here. The first one is called Bull Project. The second one's the offspring of the project. The offsprings of the project is the districts. I mean the residential part itself. Not so long ago, the town dropped anchor across the river, but it wouldn't go so far as to call it part of the district too. The polyhedron. The Bull Project. It's the industrial part of the town, the station, the warehouses, the works, the abattoir, all belong to it. I wouldn't recommend going there. It's not appropriate place for a person from the capital. It's filthy there, and the stench. I'd say it's not appropriate for anyone at all. I've hated beef for as long as I can remember. Okay, so how come such a town is divided? Yeah, well, it just sort of came that way. The Gullet, the Guzzle, the Gorkins, tributaries divided the town into 3 parts. Each of them consists of many separate courtyards. So maybe that's the reason. I see. Well, hoping nothing comes of it today. I'm going to take that advice and be solid. I don't know. I'm kind of digging the environment. For you guys, if you've played this, what was your general reaction working through all of this? You're seeing all of this stuff. Especially coming into a game like this, I know not a lot of people must... Oh. Well, that doesn't sound too good. I gotta check my map. Where are we? We're getting close. That sounds weird. I don't know what that was, but that sounded weird. All right, well, we're here. To meet our main man.
However brilliant an action,
Oh,
it must be esteemed great unless the result of a great motive.
But what if that great motive is actually bad? All right. Most venerable doctor, it is with great impatience that we have been expecting you. You do not need to delve into the minutiae of your business with us, since our family is well acquainted with your scholarly work. We are also quite aware of the difficulties you were experiencing and well prepared to do our utmost to support you. It hurts me all the more to inform you that Simon, my consanguineous brother, the creator, keeper, and embodiment of all that surrounds us, has been murdered. Damn it. Oh, no. I can't believe it. It cannot be. My brother was murdered last night under the strangest of circumstances, but for all the mystery surrounding his death, I'd rather eschew the notion that his departure was connected with whoever had visited Simon that evening. The visitor is a man of laudable rectitude, of an old friend of our family. There are witnesses to testify that he and Simon did nothing but converse. So who was the visitor? Someone you know quite well. The man whom my brother saw last night was your colleague, Isidore Burak. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Correct me, please. Was he not the very person to advise you to come here as well? I would have told you that I'd been brought here by the hand of fate not so long ago. A naive man I was. Isidore has done more than he thinks. I have a lingering feeling that time itself is using uncontestable powers to further its own intentions. What do you think? Categories like time, nature, and fate deprive man of responsibility for what's going on around him. I was taught to avoid this worldview. It could be that my mind is clouded by sorrow, but I cannot escape the feeling that your arrival was no coincidence. Your choice was made for you, my dear doctor. Let not blame fate for it. Isidore wrote to you, making us aware. He took a risk that could have displeased our family. Really? Even though we were uncertain of when you would arrive, my brother was looking forward to meeting you. The tragedy that may have been a consequence of the actions he took in preparation for your arrival. Someone has taken a powerful piece from the chessboard, a piece upon which your position here depended. It is doubtedly regrettable that Simon was playing on your side. So you presume the queen knew of the blow and sacrificed itself for a pawn. But why? My sincerest condol. That presumption is throwing it back at him. which at the same time, it's like, what a piece of information for me to get hit by as like, someone that's just come through to learn something. Ooh. Am I being fed the whole truth? And that's what I'm asking myself. Like, can I challenge? Or is he someone like of importance that like, I'm in a standstill here. Honestly, I think I do a bit of both. I do like a confrontation, but in a way where it's not so like in your face, Okay. So I think I'm going to challenge a little bit. So you presume the queen knew of the blow and sacrificed itself for a pawn, but why? To grant you victory over death. Was it not your ultimate aspiration? To help you, Simon seems to have played a very dangerous game with fate itself. He went out of his way to provide you with a body of evidence. Oh, shit. If that is indeed so, then I feel obliged. Otherwise, he's going to keep me trapped here. Do you want to help us, Doctor? I had a feeling. Find the murderer for us. My brother Victor, who is in the wing next door, would share some of his thoughts on the matter. Help us, and the reward will not disappoint you. Indeed, it seems there are too many coincidences. Your brother's murder can just be what called murder of Bachelor Donovsky. I will help you in every way I can. I suspect you are not aware of that these developments render my whole life null and void. True. As a person, this would affect you in one... Do you want to white knight it, or do you want to be realistic about it? Like, dude, the whole reason why we tried to come here was because of the development of what death means, right? And how to, like, beat death. Oh, okay. I'm just going to go with, is there any way I can help? I am convinced that if there's anyone that can solve this puzzle, then it is you. The mission calls for someone as astute and as inventive as yourself. If Isidore was an instrument of fate, then Simon's murder is a message that fate intended for you personally. Do not think I am inclined to blame you for that. I am not. That would have been strange, to say the least. Oh, shit. The Crucible, this is where Victor lives, the youngest of the three clan. Simon is dead, his brother Georgie, and then the mysterious Maria, Victor Keene's daughter, has been expecting my arrival. She seems to know more about me than I do. I mean, worth considering. What an interesting first part of the game. I know we just got done with the introduction. We've now just been hit with sort of like, the murder mystery aspect of everything. But it's interesting how everything's being thrown at you in a way where it's like, my brother's been murdered. The one that you've come to do research with and you've been called here for, whatever. Boom, here you go. And it's the dialogue. The way that the dialogue is written isn't just here you go. Everyone's going to be kind. It's like, hey, you're either going to take point A or point B. How do you want to extend this? And also, why do I have a feeling that your choices, like your dialogue choices, are going to impact you and come back and bite you in the butt? I'm enthralled by it. I don't know if I can say it enough, and I don't know if you guys get it off of me, but like genuinely, when a show gets to me like this, it brings up another aspect, a very Jungian aspect of it. As I was going through with the reputation things of the archetypes, right? Can you be, say, a hero and a villain? Can our character here, our bachelor of medicine here, be, say, the savior, or be like if we were to go out and do it right, like be a hero and also be a villain? But if that's the case, then can someone else be the creator and the destroyer? Can we have these different shadow elements while trying to go ahead and portray a good archetype? And is this what this show or what this game is portraying in some small aspects? Is, hey, there are some negative elements that the more that you go into your shadow archetype or your shadow self of playing, the more that the world around you is going to react to that. And the more that you try and play good, the more that you might have to make some shadow archetype decisions as well in order to balance things out. Ooh, phenomenal. Fucking phenomenal. I often don't like, whenever I play video games or whenever I play games in general, it tends to be either fast action, Doki Doki, or like something that a lot of people think. This is coming as a surprise for my audience, my general audience in general. And I don't think they've ever expected me to touch on this game. But for me, this is one of those games where I've been told, dude, you need to play this because this is like a venture into the psyche of man, right? It's interesting. It is so interesting. I know we just got we just got done with the tutorial aspect per se. This is part one of many different parts. I'm probably going to be playing this on stream at some point. If this gets enough love and support in YouTube, I will make a day where we can go ahead and play this on Twitch, and then we can upload it to YouTube together, guys, or even play it here on YouTube if you guys are down for some Let's Plays on YouTube. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, very, very interesting and very theatrical. I really like the different Brechtian elements and how it's juxtaposing different themes of like, well, here you can do this, but you can also do this. Like, what does that do to a person that's coming into this town? It feels like you are literally being pushed into an environment like this. How much will we change? How much will our character change? And then also, I wonder if there's going to be even more breaks in the dialogue that do not just address the character, but address us directly. Like, hey, this is your choice. This is your choice. As the person watching this, you decided to click on this video. How are you doing today? I'm not just talking to a random camera. I'm talking to you. Like that type of a thing. Like, damn. Anyways, I'm so fucking excited. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like it, help me out, please. I need some backseat gamers here. I appreciate y'all at least spending the time to watch this first playthrough, part one of the tutorial. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh my God. I feel like we're in for a ride, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, practice that self-care, ladies and gentlemen. Come and join the Discord and let me know if you guys would be down for either a YouTube live or a Twitch live of us going through and playing some games like this together. Anyways, I appreciate y'all. Have a good night. Stay safe, y'all.